Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Powinienem być widzialny i powinienem być słyszalny. Ale jak zwykle w tym wypadku przyda się jakieś potwierdzenie. Widzialny i słyszalny. Ok. Widzę, że znacząca większość wybrała jajeczko i kiełbaskę i żurek względem streama, ale się nie gniewamy. I ja ten dzień wykorzystam na to, żeby pchnąć odrobinę Gabriela Knighta. Tak, żeby z tego się nie zrobiło 8 części, a może przyzwoite 4, najwyżej 5. Przyznam się z ręką na sercu, że nie pamiętam, na czym skończyliśmy, bo było to 2 tygodnie temu, więc pierwsze próby mogą nam minąć na przypomnieniu sobie samej gry, poruszania, sterowania i innych podstawowych elementów. No, muzyka trochę za głośno w tle jak dla mnie. Teraz powinno być dobrze, ale jeżeli za cicho dla Was, to raportujcie. Mam na myśli tło, muzykę i dialogi. Nieobecni będą musieli kartkówkę napisać ze streama. Tacy okrutni nie jesteśmy, nie wymagam. Będą musieli co najwyżej nadrobić. I widzę, że to nie był dobry pomysł, żeby założyć granatową koszulkę na granatowe tło. Nie jestem najmądrzejszym mężczyzną. Dobra, z tego co pamiętam, ostatnie co robiliśmy, to odwiedzaliśmy gliniarza. Tam wymienialiśmy się informacjami o śledztwie. Co mamy w plecaczku? Numer telefonu, okej.
Grossberg's phone number.
Okej. Co to było?
March 18th, 19.
Ah,
I've
to
been
jest
doing.
list-
There's.
list.
It's all angel. I'm sending the.
List od Grace, dobra. Christianity's Journal, Victor's Journal, Likantropia, okej. Coś jest inaczej niż zwykle. Co jest inaczej niż zwykle? Dobra. Chyba za głośno. No, wydaje Ci się. A za głośno ja, czy za głośno gra? Gra. No to, bo to ruchliwe miejsce, w końcu jesteśmy w Monachium, prawda? Dobra, wydaje mi się, że ostatnio co robiliśmy, to rozmowa z gliniarzem. Proponuję się zameldować jeszcze u naszego prawnika. Szanowanko i mokrego jajeczka. No czołem. Ach tak, pamiętam tą sekretarkę daną na czerwono. Cześć Heszelele, czy mamy coś do pogadania? O, mamy.
You mentioned the possibility of my using your secretary for research?
Anytime.
Great. I wouldn't ask, but I need a newspaper search done, and my German sucks.
No problem. What exactly are you looking for?
Missing persons. Actually, missing persons cases that occurred in or near forested areas.
Hej, to musi być na podstawie danych, które od
How
policjanta
far
wyciągnę.
back do you want to go?
10 years?
Okay, I can spare her later in the day. We should have it ready for you by tomorrow.
Great. Thanks.
To naprawdę ekspresowe, biorąc pod uwagę, że to były czasy, kiedy
I'm
nie
off.
wszystko było
See you, Harry.
zarchiwizowane w sieci. Nie wszystko
Goodbye.
było w sieci, a co dopiero zarchiwizowane, a obiecuję mu taki listę z 10 lat wstecz na następny dzień. No, ambitnie, ale to Niemcy. Oni pracują efektywnie. Dobra. I co my teraz możemy zrobić? Kiełbasy wciąż pewno nie możemy kupić. Ciekawe, czy któryś z tych sklepów już jest dostępny dla nas. Nie pamiętam, czy któryś był zamknięty, czy nic nie można było z nimi zrobić.
Cuckoo clocks. Cuckoo clocks.
O, proszę.
Hello.
Grüß Gott.
Grüß Gott. Okej. Co znaczy Grüß Gott? Ciekawe, jak to jest prowadzić sklep ze zegarami z kukułką. Czy to się obroni? Aha, on nie chce rozmawiać z nami. Czy możemy kupić jakiś zegar?
Cute.
On nie ma czasu. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, well, there is in there this sound thing, you know, to wake up. You know, in the morning.
An alarm clock.
Yeah, alarm clock. Yeah, richtig. Yeah.
Richtig.
How much is it?
Wie viel? 60 marks.
To jest dużo, Marks. Ale co tam? Stać nas. Gdzie jest nasz portfel?
I'll take that woodpecker clock.
60 marks, bitte.
Tak, Sophie, tu są same kolorowe postacie, które warto, które można by zrzutować. Cześć, Phil. Jajka
That's
mokre,
all right.
dzięki.
I'll take it as it is.
Co, bez pakowania? Tak będziesz w kieszeni nosił? Można by pierdolca dostać, jakby pracować w tym sklepie i cały dzień tyk, 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 tyk. Okej, dobra. Tu jeszcze jakiś jeden sklep był.
I've already got a watch, thank you. I've already got a watch. I've already got a...
A, czyli to jest ten sam sklep, tylko druga witryna? Okej. Dobra. Spróbujmy metrem pojechać. Mamy ten adres tego barona. Tylko czy on się na mapie pojawił? Na pewno mieliśmy numer telefonu, ale chyba adres był na tej... Adres chyba był... Marienplatz. Adres chyba był na tej mapie, którą miał gliniarz u siebie. Było tutaj? A, to jest ten baron. Okej. W sensie nie wiem, czy baron.
Entschuldigung,
Von Glover.
Baron. Gabriel
Baron.
Knight ist hier, c'est Suzanne.
Lassen Sie bitte ihn herein.
Tak sobie wyobrażam barona. Tak baron musi spędzać czas wolny w domu. W szlafroku 3/4.
Gabriel, what a pleasure to see you so soon.
Myślisz, że to maślany baron?
Bringen Sie uns bitte ein zweites Glas Wein.
Hope I'm not taking advantage of your kind
Piwko
invitation.
zamówione.
Well, my invitations are meant to be kept. Come, warm yourself.
Ogrzej się co? Od czego? Od szafy?
I hope you like wine. I got hooked on the grape when I lived in France.
It's fine, Baron.
Call me Friedrich.
All right.
Good. I like to have things settled. You were going to tell me how you found the club and about your hunting in America.
Oh, there must be more interesting subjects.
No doubt. You are a man who runs deep, I suspect.
On my off days.
I find nothing more stimulating than a new companion. A fresh mind with treasures to reap. New thoughts like rare birds uncovered and examined.
Ciekawe, czy się kupuje te apaszki, które się pod koszulą nosi.
It is only when people know each other well that they run out of things to say.
May we never be so cursed.
Haha. Ciekawe, czy kieliszek to wybór estetyczny, czy dlatego, że nie widać w nich płynu, nie trzeba uzupełniać między ujęciami.
Are you from Munich originally?
No, I was raised abroad. But both of my parents had deep Bavarian roots.
Really? Where abroad?
All over. France, England, South America, North America. I love to travel.
Taki to pożyje.
So tell me about your family.
The Von Glovers? We are not nearly as old a line as the Ritters, I'm afraid.
Do you have a wife? Children?
Good God, no.
You sound like someone else I know.
I've been picking up on
Nie brzmi
certain
bardzo gościnnie,
similarities
amator.
between us. Do you have relatives? How fares the Ritter family tree?
I'm the last.
I too. I suppose all trees eventually stop bearing fruit.
How'd you end up here?
My circumstances were probably not much different
Tutaj
than
na tym
your own.
ujęciu widać, że ewidentnie jest w tym pomieszczeniu,
want to
gdzie go
return
kręcą.
to the
A na
land
tych
of my
zbliżeniach, jak się
ancestors,
wybiera
and so I
kwestie,
did.
jest jakby wycięty i
Which reminds me,
freeze frame.
you were going to tell me how the Ritter family ended up in America.
My grandfather. He left the family and went to New Orleans.
But you chose to return to the family. Why?
If you want to know the truth, I didn't have a hell of a lot of choice.
Yes. I understand.
O, tutaj jest jakby wycięty i wkluczowany, bo ktoś zapomniał nakręcić. Zresztą Gabriel też. Tutaj się tych włosków nie chciało wycinać.
Tell me about the club.
I'd prefer it if you formed your own opinions. To be perfectly frank, I could use a fresh perspective.
Ja myślę, Kup,
That's
że go,
one
tak,
reason
że
why
go,
I
że go,
invited you to
że
join
go
us.
kreują w ten sposób, a potem się okaże, że jest jednak sprzymierzeńcem.
How about telling me about the other club members?
Ah, my select few. You find them valuable friends once you get to know them.
Did most of them come to the club through you?
For the most part. Though occasionally, fate throws one into my lap.
All of the men at the club are from wealthy German families, I gather.
Yes, but it's not quite that simple.
Gabriel jest za głupi, żeby być
I am a
mordercą.
believer in self-determination. Each man at the club must also be personally accomplished and gifted.
Really?
Absolutely. For example, von Eigner owns one of Germany's biggest meat butchering plants, and he runs an elite private brewery. It's true he inherited the business, but he's expanded it a great deal.
A butchery. Huh. And the others?
Price is recognized as one of the best trial lawyers in Germany. He seems pleasant enough in person, but you would be surprised how vicious he can be in the courtroom.
And Henneman.
Na szczęście
with the
Gabriel nas
government.
nie słyszy.
He has a prominent position and is an acknowledged contender for higher office.
Really? How high?
There have been newspaper reports that predicted the highest.
That would be convenient for his friends, wouldn't it?
Such men are an asset to everyone who knows them.
And Baron von Zell.
Von Zell's
Baron
family owned the
Den-
majority
Denzel.
of stock of one of Munich's oldest banks.
And his own personal accomplishments?
Gar was, is a quite promising young man. He was always top of his class, the best at anything he did.
I keep picking up a past tense here.
You haven't seen him at his best. He's going through a rough spot lately, I'm afraid.
Have you ever heard of the Black Wolf?
Oj, się wzruszył.
It's all right.
Gunther! Würden Sie das bitte reinigen?
You barely got me.
Cześć, trufla.
Are you all right?
On coś wie o czarnym wilku.
Yeah.
Danke. I feel so clumsy. Danke, Gunther. What was it you asked again?
No wilk czarny. No mów, a
I
nie.
asked if you'd ever heard of the Black Wolf.
Of course, you did. I suppose you just startled me. These killings in the papers. They've really got me derailed.
Any particular reason?
People getting slaughtered. Children. In broad daylight. Nature can seem cruel, but it is orderly. It does not waste or torture. Not like this. And with the club espousing what we do, our philosophy does not support this kind of thing.
No jeżeli mówi prawdę, to jest
I'm sure that's
kolejna
true.
wskazówka, że raczej będzie sojusznikiem, a nie czarnym charakterem.
It just... I'm
Mówi z
concerned
przekonaniem.
that we are not put in the best of light under these circumstances. To promote hunting when these atrocities in the papers. You must understand. The nature I promote is not a murderer. When a healthy beast kills, it takes only what it needs to survive. And it does so respectfully. It is only the man who is capable of
No ale Kubar, on nosi
such a
szlafrok
pointless slaughter.
i apaszkę w domu. Jak możesz mu nie ufać?
I'll be glad when this has passed. I'm sure the other men feel the same way.
Czyli pogadane, to coś tutaj jeszcze jest do kliknięcia. O, maska.
That's a great mask. Mind if I take a look?
Be my guest.
Interesting. Is it African?
No, Indian. I picked it up in Brazil.
Von Glauer says it's Indian. Von Glauer says it's Indian. Von Glauer says...
Okej, czyli to wszystko. Chcę znać sekret tych panów na taką objętość włosów u nasady. O, to trzeba trzeba suszyć, znaczy dobry produkt i trzeba suszyć tak od dołu, albo do góry nogami głowę i wtedy suszyć tak, żeby się trzymały. Jajka też pomagają. No dobra,
I'm
chyba
not sure what
wszystko.
else to say.
I should get going.
All right.
To ja pójdę.
Visit me again.
Jak słyszę
Soon.
od dołu, to potem wyglądam jak Hagrid. No bo to trzeba z wyprzedzeniem. Ja słyszę od dołu, ale wtedy włosy są gotowe na jakieś za pół godziny. To trzeba wszystko zrobić z głową. No wiadomo, że nie można od razu wyjść do ludzi, bo tak jak mówisz, stoją pionowo. Aha, to może pojedźmy do domu zdać... To jest tutaj? Zdać raport. Cześć Mardo. Tutaj był telefon chyba, nie? To jest telefon? Tak,
Who
to
should I
jest
call?
telefon. Niby metro ma samo, bo on, przecież było mówione, jak może się nie było na pierwszym odcinku, ale on dojeżdża metrem do stacji, znaczy samochodem do stacji metra i tam
Never
się
know.
przesiada.
Never know.
Okej, czyli tu nic nie ma. Park and ride, no o to chodzi. I tych gości w klubie trzeba będzie prześwietlić. Tam było jedno zamknięte pomieszczenie, pamiętam. Hello.
Hello. My name is Knight. I'm an American associate of Herr Grossberg's.
Yes? I was just calling the people in Herr Grossberg's address book to notify them. Have you heard that Herr Grossberg has...
Yes, I know about his death.
Yes, I'm sorry. Would you mind giving me your name again so I can check you off the list?
Knight.
Ella Hoffman... I'm not finding you.
Could you check under Vaughn? It's Vaughn Knight.
Oh, so... Yes, Vaughn. Von Eigner, von Frank, von Stein... You're not under Vaughn either.
Excuse me, did you say Von Agner?
Yes?
Do you know Von Agner?
I don't know him. I don't know most of Grossberg's business contacts.
Grossberg knew him.
If this is about money, you're out of luck. All the accounts are locked until someone comes in and takes over. Besides, there's nothing in them anyway.
Trochę za dużo gada
Really?
ta sekretarka.
Well, could you just look up an account balance for me?
I can't. The address book is all I have. The police have taken Herr Grossberg's ledgers.
Oh, well, thank you.
Goodbye.
Okej. To nie metronom, tylko zegar z kukułką. I tu wszyscy mają, nie, Amerykanie mają takie wyobrażenie o Niemcach, że każdy ma zegar z kukułką. A, to jest gazeta. Nie, my chcemy list do Grace napisać.
It looks like there's been another wolf killing, and this one occurred last night in downtown Munich.
To jest to samo, które widzieliśmy. Byliśmy na miejscu zbrodni, tam poznaliśmy tego policjanta. Czy ja nie mam zegara z kukułką? No nie mam.
I'd better make sure Gracie keeps busy.
Rogi jelenia na ścianie i wursty w lodówce. Dobrze, że nie odwrotnie. Wursty na ścianie i jelenie w lodówce. A propos dobrego wursta białego na śniadanko wielkanocne dzisiaj. Tak, wszyscy mamy w Gdyni na ścianie rybę, która śpiewa. To co, to pojedziemy nadać, nie? Potem zobaczymy w tym klubie, co możemy zrobić.
I was hoping for a Mercedes.
Też jest, nie podoba mi się to, że wiadomo, że chodzi, przez to, że nie ma use, nie ma przycisków use, push, open i tak dalej w LucasArtsowym modelu, to trzeba zawsze, wiadomo, że jak klikam na samochód, to po to, żeby nim jechać, nie? Zasadniczo powinna się domyślić gra. A przez to, że nie ma takich personalizowanych przycisków do konkretnych akcji, to muszę zawsze z inwentory wyciągnąć kluczyk i kliknąć nim na samochód. To jest ten typ samochodu, który miał pasy na drzwiach. Nie wiem, czy pamiętacie, niektóre samochody miały tak, że jak się otwierało, to na tym były. Pasy były na drzwiach. Marienplatz, nie? I poczta była tam. W Sopocie można mieć rybę, ale nie trzeba. Tak, w Sopocie tego nie sprawdzają. Excuse me, tu była poczta. Jest.
What should I mail?
What should I mail? No może ten list, co go napisałeś.
My letter to Gracie.
Tak, sprawdź, czy nikt cię nie śledzi.
That's taken care of.
Dobra, to chodźmy do tego klubu. Dobra, zróbmy sobie save'a. Trochę ugraliśmy.
I think I've pumped that particular well dry.
Okej, to zobaczmy. To było tutaj, nie?
It just leads to a back alley.
It won't do much good to keep trying it. It's locked.
Nice plan.
Cześć Seplów. To teraz jakoś trzeba zrobić, żeby on zechciał tutaj pójść. Może on przy tym swoim biureczku ma tam jakiś ten kluczyk. Można by kasetę nagrać, albo można by... No co jest? Tego kukukloka tutaj podrzucić.
You never know when a little woodpecking will come in handy.
Się da go schować. Najgorszy decoy ever. Dobra. Co teraz?
I think I've pumped that particular well dry.
Lululu, ba ba ba.
Somebody's out the door.
I can hear.
Aha.
Nothing there, I need. Nothing there, nothing there.
Okej, czyli tylko klucze są do wzięcia.
Everything all right?
Everything is fine, Herr Knight.
Tak, mogę się mu kawę wypić jeszcze. Dobra, zobaczmy, czy teraz możemy otworzyć, które z tych drzwi. Okej. Byliśmy zawodowym włamywaczem, w związku z czym musimy odłożyć te klucze z powrotem. Zróbmy jeszcze raz numer z tym. A nie, on go zabrał. Okej. Spróbujmy jeszcze raz podłożyć. A jakby się mu udało wypić kawę, tak. To był fajny numer. Albo buty mu, kto trzyma klucze, bo to nie są klucze w donicy, to jest kukułka, to jest decoy. Albo jak mu się dało mu buty zamienić o numer mniejsze, jak wyszedł. Albo postawić kawę, tak.
I think I've pumped that particular well dry.
O, znowu idzie. Herr Knight, co się tu opierasz o biurko? Teraz zobaczymy, czy można coś z kawą zrobić.
Möchte wissen, wer das ist.
Albo spodnie skrócić. O. Nie da się z kawą nic zrobić. Sorry. Nawet napluć. Co ostatnio graliśmy w Larym 7, nie? Poza normalnymi komendami można było jeszcze wpisywać swoje. Może byłoby napluć do kawy. Wpisz mu się do złotych myśli. Ostatnie pytanie, lubisz mnie? I nawet tak, napiszę tak, ale zagnę kawałek strony, żeby to ostatnie było ukryte.
Everything all right?
Everything is fine, Herr Knight.
Co to jest pelemele? Nie znam pelemele. Co jest? Gra mi się zawiesiła? Nie, dobra, poszedł sobie. Już się bałem, że coś się stało. Save'ik. Albo z pelemele Złote Myśli w Małopolsce, czyli to jakieś z Nowej Huty, dialekt, tak? Tygrys Tiger.
Aren't some of these endangered species? Aren't some of these endangered species?
A, czyli oni polują na te...
Aren't some of... Just a guess, but I don't think this stuff has much to do with hunting.
Czyli to są Złote Myśli.
Rice, Von Agna, Henneman. I met them all last night. I wonder what these figures mean. Rice, Von...
Ale ostre.
What the hell do these guys
Jaki
hunt
kolor.
anyway? Photos of the club hunts. Looks like Von Glauer and Von Zell monopolized the camera. Or the hunts. Photos of the club hunts. Looks like Von Glauer and Von Zell monopolized the camera. Or the hunts.
Wiecie co wychodzi jak w Pele meble zmienicie pierwszą? Nie wiem.
Photos of the club hunts. Looks like Von Glauer and Von Zell monopolized the camera. Or the hunts. Photos of the club hunts. Looks like Von Glauer and Von Zell Photos of the... Photos of the club hunt.
Okej, czyli to jest wszystko to samo. Dobra. Czy ktoś mnie nakryje teraz? Tak wygląda, jakby ktoś miał wejść. O, haj, nie zauważyłem cię. Tak tutaj sobie oglądam zdjęcia.
Mr. Knight?
Hey.
This room is for members. Only.
Oh, sorry. The door was open. I'll go up.
Wait. I'd better make sure you do not take another unexpected detour.
Co, low jacka mu założy?
After you. Zawar, kommen Sie!
Zawar.
Ja, Baron von Zell?
I found the basement door unlocked and Herr Knight below. Perhaps you could keep a better eye on the keys in the future.
I will, Baron von Zell.
Bardzo zdenerwowanie usiądę tutaj teraz. Pogadajmy. Coś się tak zdenerwował.
May I speak with you, Baron von Zell?
Yes? What is it?
So, what do you do for a living, Baron von Zell?
Z zawodu jestem
For a
baronem.
living? My family is in banking, Herr Knight. What do you do for a living?
Me? I'm a writer.
A writer? How aggressive of you.
How aggressive of you.
I take it you're particularly fond of hunting. I noticed the photographs downstairs. You and the Baron sure do get around.
We are the best? You may find that out for yourself
Chyba nie możesz
someday.
każdego po kolei,
I'm
kto się
anxious for us to hit the field.
pokaże, wskazywać
I have
jako
a feeling
mordercy
there's a lot
głównego
I could learn
bossa.
from you.
Musisz
You
się
may find yourself more
zdecydować.
challenged than you can imagine.
True, I don't get in as much practice as I'd like, and hunting's like any other sport. The more you do it, the better you get.
Bullshit. Hunting is a matter of the spirit, of will.
So it is.
However, Evan could see that von Glover and I have
Jest
had more
wystarczająco niemiecki
practice
nam głównego bossa,
than the
no to
others
jest
in the
akurat
club.
prawda.
We used to hunt together quite a bit.
Used to. You don't hunt together anymore?
No, not often.
To jest Hunt Bros, tak? Albo Hunt Buddies.
Are you and Von Glauer too busy to hunt much these days, or have y'all fallen out?
I suppose I've simply outgrown him.
Really? In what way?
On teraz na
You
barona
wouldn't
psioczy,
understand.
to pójdziemy do barona i się poskarżymy.
Oh.
Oh.
How about telling me about the other club members?
I have a better idea. Why don't you tell me about yourself?
Like what?
For example, why are you in Munich?
Oh, I'm just vacationing and thought I'd stop by on my way through.
Really? And where are you staying in Munich?
Gabriel to Labrador, żebyś
Upside
wiedziała,
down ways.
trufla. Jest mniej więcej tak samo inteligentny.
Which suburb?
I'm on a farm, actually. And
Dobrze
you know,
chce,
I don't
przystojny,
remember the name of the area.
ładne kłaki, ale
I couldn't
tępy.
pronounce it anyway.
Yes. Quite curious for someone with a supposedly high Germanic background.
Yep. I guess going out and making your mark on the rest of the world will do that to a family line.
Gabriel Retriever to jest.
The club seems to be an exciting place. Do y'all travel much as a group?
No.
Really? You don't hunt abroad?
We are all very busy men.
Very, very busy man. Business.
No, isn't that odd? So, how do you like the club?
Herr Knight, if you wish to learn about the club, you should keep your mouth shut and observe.
Gdzie był coś? To w tym, w Fantasmagorii drugiej był portfel chyba pod tym,
Have you ever heard of the Black Wolf?
pod kanapą i potrzebny był szczur, nie? Żeby go wyciągnąć.
No.
Słyszałeś o Czarny Wilk? Nie. Dum.
You mentioned that y'all don't go on hunting trips abroad?
We do not.
But those trophies in the basement, do y'all really have white tigers in Germany or lions?
The majority of what the club hunts are far more common species, Herr Knight. The trophies in the basement are exceptions, and they were obtained quite legally.
Oh, you misunderstand me, Baron von
I
Zell.
think not. In any case, the basement is not public territory, and its contents are, therefore, none of your concern.
Of course, I do apologize.
As a guest of this club, the why you are a guest of this club is a mystery to me.
Iwan,
But as a
który
guest,
to Piotr Rubik.
perhaps you should limit your prowling and sniffing to areas which you are offered openly by those who belong here.
You're so right.
Dobra. Parówka to może być kolejny fortel. To może być kolejny sprzymierzeniec. Jeszcze nie poznaliśmy tego prawdziwego wroga. Dobra. Jedźmy do Baron się poskarżyć. Gabriel ma nowoorleański akcent. W każdym razie tak sugeruje jego pochodzenie. Tak, największym wrogiem Gabriela jest sam Gabriel. To jest akurat prawda.
Please, sit down.
Sorry to bother you again.
Wszakże nie było cię tu
We haven't
jakieś
finished
dobre
our
45
conversation.
minut, a my wciąż pijemy wino.
Tell me, what have you been up to?
Trochę ktoś to źle to ktoś zaprojektował czasowo, w sensie więcej zagadek i do zrobienia powinno być wsadzone między jedną wizytą u barona a drugą, bo tak w zasadzie byliśmy tego samego dnia, można do niego wrócić, on jest to samo ubrany, to samo wino pije.
Yes?
I get the feeling you're not your average, ordinary hunting club.
No?
Well, that room in
Widziałem
the
wasz
basement,
pokój.
for instance.
I gather you've been exploring.
Well, the door was open.
It doesn't matter.
Nie było otwarte.
You are right. Yes. Die Königlich Bayerische Hofjagdloge is more than just a hunting club.
Płacę dychę każdemu, kto tą nazwę
We
wypowie.
share certain philosophical beliefs as well.
Jaka jest filozofia klubu?
I'm curious about these philosophical beliefs of yours. Can I talk you into enlighten me?
Are you really interested?
Jedną butelkę wina 3 dni robisz? Czy po prostu masz tak dużo butelek tego samego wina?
You seem to be the sort of man who would appreciate our way of thinking. The men at the club and I, it is our desire to reconnect with our true physical nature.
Polują nago.
Think of it this way. What makes man different from any other species on this planet? Civilization, of course. Oh, it's not a bad thing, human society. But it has come at a terrible price. Through civilization, man has lost his physical self, his sensory power, his instinct, if you will. He became fat and lazy.
To jest typowy
A
baronowy
dulled,
strój
rusted blade.
Wieczorny.
And those are my good days.
Picture a beast in the woods.
To jest odpowiednik
It
naszych
is
dresów.
alert. It smells. It sees. It feels everything around it. It can tell where some other animal has passed days before, where food is to be found. It can sense danger. You put civilized man in the woods, and he's comparably deaf, dumb, and blind.
I hear you, but isn't some of that related to physical makeup? Our senses of smell and hearing aren't as sharp as those of wolves, for example.
That's just it. Surely man once had those abilities. As generations of city dwellers failed to use their most acute senses, genetically they started to fall away, the way limbs wither when not exercised. I believe we can hold this degeneration. And not only hold it, but recover that which was lost.
It's an interesting concept. Do you have any proof that such powers are recoverable?
Proof? I felt things myself. Keener hearing, sharper smells, but documentable proof?
Dobra,
That is harder.
Teraz pytanie, czy siedzą w kółku i sobie zbijają piątki, bo ktoś lepiej
To what
wącha,
extent we can recover
czy
these
faktycznie coś
primal
kręcą?
abilities? And what some of those abilities might
I
prove
się
to
zaczęli
be?
w wilkołaki zmieniać.
That is what we still struggle to find out.
You're very convincing, Friedrich. There's no doubt that the potential is fascinating. How does one go about trying to get back in touch with one's physical self? Does it have something to do with hunting?
You are right. That's part of it. Yes. Man is, or was,
Siedzą w kółku i zbijają pionki, jak ktoś lepiej wącha, tak.
but unfortunately, he was too smart for his own good. He figured out how to raise his prey in pens. Hunting helps us get back in touch with our predator soul.
Do you get back in touch with your predator soul?
Some of us have been more successful at tapping into that than others.
Mów o tej filozofii klubu.
So how has this philosophy affected the men in the club?
The men at the club are all excellent specimens who have used the philosophy to increase their success and power.
So your woods becomes corporate headquarters, your
Nie
prey
wiem,
the
kto by sobie
competition.
chciał wrócić do predatorstwa
Some of the
trufla.
technique can be applied,
Bieganie
yes.
po lesie za królikami nago? Brzmi jak fajna zabawa.
When the senses are primed, one can pick up all sort of feedback that is normally lost in the haze.
Speaking hypothetically, do you think it would be possible to take this philosophy too far?
Funny that should occur to you so quickly. It hadn't occurred to me for the longest time. I hope not.
No to teraz już nie wiem, czy on jest dobry, czy jest zły.
I'm not sure what else to say. That's me, Gabriel Knight.
That's me, Gabriel Knight.
Well, I hate to say it, but I should go.
Dobra, gdzie można znaleźć resztę?
It's been a
członków?
rare pleasure.
Yeah. I've been kind of isolated over here myself.
I'll see you at the club tonight, won't I?
O,
Oh,
Club Tonight.
And perhaps you'd like to come over for a drink after that? It will give us a chance to talk some more about the others.
Klub i drinki. No i to
like
jest
that.
plan.
Thanks.
Marienplatz. Fajnie jakby były tutaj na tej mapie metra dokładniejsze. Marienplatz i cyk, cyk, cyk i 3 różne lokacje, że mógł sobie wybrać, do której z nich chce iść. Okej, zróbmy sobie save'a. No albo klasyczne, jak się 2 razy kliknie na krawędź, gdzie jest exit, to postać się tam automatycznie teleportuje. No. Trochę brakuje tych zdobyczy. Za każdym razem trzeba cały Marienplatz przejść, jak chcemy iść do klubu albo na pocztę. Mam nadzieję, że już jest ten wieczór. Nie trzeba się bez sensu kręcić w kółko. Nikt nie mówi, że nie jest piękny, ale 16 razy.
And you, Herr Price? You look a little wet.
Nie, Hochlichsen, wątpię, że
I
ludzie się
was visiting a friend nearby, and I thought that I should take a shower before the others arrived. I was a bit automatic.
Co tam mamy na półce? Johnnego Walkera, czerwonego, rozpoznaję.
Well, how thoughtful.
And I thought Germans only drank beer.
Herr Price?
Tego to nie jestem pewien. Ten może być zły.
Yes.
Yes. Oni wszyscy będą po kolei przychodzić?
Baron von Glau mentioned that you're a lawyer.
Yes. And fortunately for me these days, I have enough money to where I only have to take those cases which interest me. I enjoy my leisure time.
And what do you do with your leisure time?
I entertain.
Coś tu jeszcze jest do kliknięcia? Nie, chyba, czyli to chyba tylko rozmowa.
Probably a dumb question, but what sort of entertaining do you do?
Iluzjonistą jest.
Do you like women, Herr Knight?
I've been known to.
I adore them. You might call it an obsession. The stalk, the dance, the bait, the hook.
And what do you do once you've hooked him?
Oh, you know. You're quite a pleasurist yourself. Or have I misled you?
You're probably just getting a whiff of the past, Herr Price.
Niezręcznie się zrobiło Gabrielowi.
What do you think of the club philosophy?
It works, doesn't it?
Does it?
We're all animals, but I deny it.
So you don't believe in suppressing anything?
Why would I want to suppress my urges? If your body wants something, it must be natural.
Well, what if you get the natural urge to rip someone's throat out?
Well, fortunately, my instincts run to pleasure. Of the equally sticky but less fatal kind.
Well, what about those whose instincts are fatal? Shouldn't they suppress?
I believe that nature handles that scenario when it occurs here at night.
And how does it do that exactly?
Każdy w tym klubie może być podejrzany.
A member of society does not conform, he is hunted down and executed. End of mutant instinct. And its genetic bloodline.
Okej, no z tym bym nie chciał zostać sam na sam w pokoju.
Tell me about the other club members.
Oh, they're all right. Don't worry about Von Zell. He's a bastard to everyone these days.
PMS?
I don't know what his problem is. Oh, he's always been an arrogant bastard, competitive on the hunts, ambitious. But still, aren't we all? No, he was decent enough at one time. In fact, he was Von Gloria's favorite. And he was an asset as a friend. But things change.
Do końca, Kubert. Nikt nic nie wie o wilkołakach.
And what about the other club members?
Like who?
Henneman, for example. I've heard he's in line for a position extremely high up in the government.
Henneman, he is a drunk. His days as a political superstar are over. My friends at the courthouse tell me that he has been marked for early retirement. One less politician to worry about, huh?
Yeah.
When did Von Zell begin to change?
Denzel, a co Denzel?
Oh, he's been getting worse for a long time. I remember a hunting trip about a year ago. That was the last time I remember that we were all together and having a good time. He must have started getting difficult after that.
Może jak byli na polowaniu, to ich dorwał
Seems like
czalny
you've
wilk
pretty much written Von Zell off
i
yourself.
zaraził ich klątwą.
Any particular reason?
Teraz mamy całą bandę wilkołaków.
It's one thing when he insults the rest of us. But when he insults the Baron, no. I heard them arguing once. When Glover told Von Zell he did acted stupidly about something or the other.
How was Von Zell an asset as a friend?
He is a banker.
Are you saying he loaned you money?
He's always willing to help out his good friends.
Why would anyone in this club need money? I thought y'all were models of success.
Yes, well, Fortunately, I took less advantage of von Zell's hospitality than some.
Okej. Rozłam w środku klubu. Czarny wilk. To ty?
Have you ever heard of the Black Wolf?
Well, yeah, it's me.
Yes.
Really, where?
Oh, I don't know. Just sounds familiar.
Will you tell me if you remember?
Sure, będę dzwonił.
The reinforcements have arrived. Now you'll have someone new to probe, Herr Knight.
My brilliant man, good cheer to you both. Where's the beer?
Guten Abend, mein Herr. Good evening.
Guten Abend.
Piwko, piwko. Mu się bardzo śpieszy do alkoholu.
Abend.
Abend. Meine kleine Familie. How are you all this evening? Hello. Gabriel, I'm glad you could join us.
I need to speak with the Baron. Enjoy your evening, Herr Knight.
Thanks. I will.
Baron, may I speak to you for a minute?
What is it, Bryce?
Piwko, piwko, piwko. Dobra, od kogo zaczniemy? Od alkoholików, nie?
Ich habe meinen Nachmittagstermin abgesagt. Wir treffen uns hier um 4 Uhr?
Ja, so viel ich weiß. Ja, so, good evening, Herr Knight.
Henneman, von Agner?
You care to join us?
Sure. Thanks.
One piwko, proszę.
I've spoken to several of the club members today, but I haven't had a chance to speak with you yet, Herr von Agner.
How tragic. No one in this club talks better than I do.
Oh, true, very true.
Perhaps tomorrow?
I'd be delighted.
Aha, czyli tu się można umawiać na kolejne rozmowy.
I haven't had a chance to get to know you yet, Herr Henneman.
Well, I'm already beyond serious conversation tonight, I'm afraid.
Tomorrow's fine.
A, gra mówi, nie, teraz z nim nie rozmawiaj, z nim rozmowa jest zaplanowana na jutro.
Have you guys heard about the mutilation killing last night? Happened right around the corner.
Awful.
Trochę klimat psujesz. No.
I'd meant to get a newspaper, but the time got away from me. Do you have any details?
A few. The victim was a man named Grossberg. He ran a furrier business in town.
Horrible. You know, this zoo wolf business is inexcusable. The mayor has been spoken to, and quite seriously.
Denerwuje się
Even
wyjątkowo.
the prime minister is concerned.
Did you know Grossberg, Herr von Agner?
Me? Grossberg?
Wow, no.
Why, no. Why do you ask?
I just thought you're both in the animal processing business.
Munich is a big city, Herr Knight.
So it is. Well, I was just curious.
Co tu za butelki? Nic więcej nie poznaję. No, tam Lauders jest w takiej butelce, ale nie w zielonej.
So, what were you all talking about when I came up?
Tomorrow's little excursion. Will you be joining us?
Our monthly hunting trip.
O, może będzie wycieczka.
Really, where?
Our lodge is at Eppenberg. It's in the Bavarian National Forest. We leave tomorrow afternoon.
Well, gosh, you know, that sounds great, but I need to have my gun cleaned and...
Oh, there are plenty of guns at the lodge.
Yeah, von Eigner, perhaps the Baron did not mean for Herr Knight to join us quite so soon.
Oh, hell, why not? Baron?
Von Eigner?
Our hunting trip tomorrow. Will our new American friend be going with us?
Tonight? Well, I don't see why he could...
Of course not. He's not a club member.
O,
He's probably not even registered with the license office.
Nonsense, Gar.
The sooner we get to see his technique, the better.
Little
We'll
baby
just slip him in,
Steven's
and he can register properly when we get back.
But that's not legal.
Since when do you care about legalities? It's only a hunting license.
I agree. I would enjoy Gabriel's presence very much.
Well, enough said. The Baron should certainly get whatever he wants, shouldn't he? Perhaps it will be an interesting exercise at that.
Coś czuję, że to będzie ten typ polowania, na którym ktoś kogoś postrzeli przez przypadek. Kto postrzelił? To Dick Cheney postrzelił kogoś na polowaniu? Przepraszam, podsłuchać, o czym rozmawiacie.
Can I join you in a moment, Gabriel? Price and I are almost finished.
Okay. I'll be around.
Myślałem, że on mówi, chodzi o to, że jak sikam, to pieczę. Panowie, o czym rozmawiają?
Yes, Herr Knight?
How's it going?
Fine. Would you excuse us, please? We are discussing something private.
Oh, sure.
Niegrzeczny ten Knight. Co, może z nimi pogadać jeszcze? Czy...
Yes, Herr Knight?
Znowu coś się zacięło. Nothing, never mind, thanks. Okej, ale gra mi się zacięła chyba. Come on. Come on, gro. Nie rób mi tego. Za dużo gadania było, żeby grać to od nowa. No. Nie. Gro. Jak mogłeś, gro? Gorsze jest to, że do save'a daleko. Dobra, skipniemy wszystko. Grasz w starocie, to mam do tego heavy modified starocie. Dobra. Gdzie my skończyliśmy? Na czym my skończyliśmy? Gdzie my idziemy? Wejdziemy do klubu, nie? Tak, i znowu ten plac pieprzony muszę przejść. Tylko teraz nawet Gabriel mi zniknął. Nie wiem gdzie jest Gabriel. Taki całkiem ładny Marienplatz, nie? Mam nadzieję, że to już jest po akcji z kukułką. Dobra, okej. No, ciach, ciach, szybko idzie. Okolicy. Dobra, tu sobie zrobimy save'a. To nigdy nie wiadomo. Dobra, z tymi też już można...
Just wanted to grab a magazine.
Then grab one.
Grab one. O, to on, dobra, on podniósł magazyn. To my zobaczymy, co za magazyn, bo to ważne. Okej, dobra.
I can't read it. It's in
Dzięki, Gabriel. Ale możemy wsadzić na przykład tape recorder do magazynu.
That's a thought.
Co się stało teraz? Nie chciałem tego kliknąć. Nie, to nie jest Angela Merkel.
I hid the tape recorder inside the magazine.
Czy była już jakaś postać o imieniu Wolfgang? Chyba była.
Just wanted to put this magazine back. It
Genius,
wasn't
nie?
very good. I wouldn't recommend it.
Oddaję ten magazyn, tylko nie czytajcie go. Słaby jest, nic tam nie ma. Muszą go mieć za idiotę.
I have the home.
Gentlemen, excuse me, please.
Fajby. Piwko. Ewidentnie mu nie nalał za lekko. O, jeszcze bacha tym kuflem.
Not getting to you sooner. Have you been enjoying yourself?
Oh, it's been loads of fun.
Good.
Super,
I'm glad you're going with us tomorrow. You don't get started until the afternoon, so won't have to worry about staying up late tonight.
I have to warn you, my hunting's kind of rusty.
I'm sure you'll do just fine.
Grał w killerze, tak.
I demand to know what you're doing at this club.
Me?
Baron Vancel.
Really?
Are you aware that this guest of yours has been asking intimate questions? Poking around in our personal affairs? He must be a reporter. Or the police.
Well.
What do we have to fear from a reporter or the police? Although I can promise you her night is neither.
You don't care that he's prying into our private business? What possible motive could he have?
Gar! Please. He's my guest. You're the one who's turning that into an inquisition.
Then it is on your head.
Tam.
I apologize for that.
You keep defending me. I'm not exactly helping the harmony around here.
Believe me, the harmony was shattered a long time before you came. Vancel gets territorial. I'm tired of it, frankly.
Well, I should go anyway. I wanted to clean up before tonight.
All right.
Dużo nie upił.
Good night, everyone.
Oh,
Good enough
night,
tonight.
night.
I should be home soon. See you then.
W sensie u niego w domu umawiają? Czy on go podrywa? Dobra, weź gazetę Hernight, żeby podsłuchać, o czym rozmawiamy. Mam nadzieję, że zabrał. Predator. Co to jest? Kot martwy? Cześć, Damianus. Anakonda. Fąż jakiś. W brzuchu mu burczy. Chapter 4. To teraz Grace znowu będziemy grali. Mhm. Tak w skali od 0 do 10, jak oceniasz wczorajszy odcinek, bo nie wiem jak to posłuchać. Zawsze słuchać. Oceniam na 2. Oceniam na 2, bo było o grach Lego. I żadnego rezydenta. No ile razy on ją chwyci za tą rękę? No mniej jest takie podejrzenie. Dobra, sejwik. Sejwik. I pierwsze co, to chyba trzeba by odebrać list od Gabriela na poczcie, nie? Nie spałem, trufla. O, nie ma tej drugiej, jak ona miała na imię. Gerdi. O, Gerdi.
Gerda's being a real pig about those car keys.
Okej, czyli Gerdi nie dała jeszcze kluczy do samochodu, czyli musimy pieszo się poruszać. Poczta, gdzie była poczta? O, tutaj, dobra, już pamiętam.
There's no one there.
O, hallo.
Guten Tag.
Grüß Gott, Frau Nakimura. Ich habe etwas für Sie.
Frau Nakimura.
Oh, it's from Gabriel.
Ja, das ist vom Schattenjäger. Ja.
No to oni tu wszyscy wiedzą, że on jest
No, I
szatanier.
think you... Gabriel is a working partner and... Never mind. Danke.
Bitte, brauchen Sie noch etwas?
My German isn't good enough for chit-chat.
Co, nie pogadam z tobą, bo nie mam
Danke.
niemieckiego.
Bitte.
Wow, ale szybko poszło. Dobra, co napisał Gabriel?
Gracie, you decided to come over. That's great. Guten Tag and all that. I'm sure you and Gertie are hitting it off. Thanks for finding the werewolf book. I'm not sure what it all means, but it might be useful. About Ludwig II, you know, I think you might have something there. Ubergrau says there are 2 places you should check out. Ludwig had a castle called New Swan something, and there's a museum about him here in chemistry. Something like that. I really think you should spend some time looking into it.
Here in chemistry? No, pokręcił nazwy.
Don't worry. Things are going very smoothly this time around. I've tracked a suspect to a hunt club run by a man named Von Glauer. He seems okay, but I'm sure there's something going on with at least one of the others. Don't worry, though. I met a police detective named Liba, so I have backup. I'll be finished soon. Sit tight and enjoy your visit till I get there. Gabriel.
What does he think? I'm on vacation here? And no address. Thank you very much, Mr. Knight.
To też jest tak, nie wiem, nie można nadać listu nie podając adresu zwrotnego, chyba że do skrzynki się go wrzuca. Żaden z nich nie nadawało w ten sposób listu. To są ci goście. Co wtedy w nocy przyszli. Ci Amerykanie, fani Schattenjägera.
Herr Huber?
Moja ulubiona postać. Yeah.
I was wondering if you've changed your mind about telling me where Gabriel is. It's really important.
No. Sorry.
Nie powiem. Cześć, Quest.
Thanks.
Bitte.
Do usług.
Hello there, dear.
Hi, I'm Grace Nakamura from the castle. Am I interrupting?
Heavens, no.
Have a seat, Miss Nakamura.
Well, I might. For a moment.
Isn't this nice? We just finished our breakfast. Do you want something?
No, thanks.
Good for you. I can never turn down food myself. Now you just tell us all about it, Sugar Pie.
You mentioned the other night that you were a demonologist. What is that exactly?
Well, it's not as bad as it sounds, honey. What Emma and I really do is to help protect people.
Protect them from what?
Well, do you believe in the devil, Miss Nakamura?
I believe in good and evil, if that helps.
Oh, but Satan and his demons are real, and they will attack the living. And most folks don't know what to do once they've been attacked. We try to help protect people.
How can you protect people from demons?
Best protection is faith in God, of course. But sometimes faith isn't enough. Sometimes we have to delve into the supernatural in order to protect others. Your Schattenjägers are just the same.
We are? I mean, he is?
Of course. The warriors of light are rare these days, but they do exist all around the globe.
That's interesting. I just read about a group called Manos del Sol in Brazil. So the Ritters aren't the only Schattenjägers.
Well, they're probably the only ones to use that title, but others have been chosen for the battle.
Ile jest części Gabriela? Bo jeszcze pamiętam trzecią. W 3D.
Do you know anything about King Ludwig II?
By było więcej, może która by się w Brazylii działa, albo sięgała do tej mitologii
Well, I
Schattenjägerów w
found a
Brazylii.
letter in the Schattenjäger library warning Ludwig about the Black Wolf.
Who wrote the letter?
One of Gabriel's ancestors, a Schattenjäger.
Seems like whoever was using me as a megaphone helped you find that letter. Perhaps you should follow the path something's pointing at. Look into
12,
Ludwig.
dzięki, Quest.
I intend to.
Nawet
The other night you said something about the
Broken
Black
Salt nie ma
Wolf.
12
What did
części,
you
ale
mean?
dzięki.
Where did you hear that
Chyba
name?
5.
I wasn't the one talking.
I don't understand.
Well, that's quite all right. The point is, it would be a very good idea to answer those questions, and we must work together to do so. Of course I'll help you, Pumpkin. I'd like to know myself, wouldn't I? It isn't every day one's taken over by a disembodied spirit, and I don't much care for it, thank you.
You're not talking about a
Tutaj nie ma
seance, are
części,
you?
tylko edycja.
Thank God.
Emil's right. I'm much better at tarot cards. I can read for you or for someone else if you prefer.
Super.
Are you sure you don't know anything about the Black Wolf?
I never did, dear. I told you. Really, you mustn't confuse the vessel with the voice. All I remember was seeing a very bright flash like lightning. Next thing I knew, Emil had me outside. Whatever it was very powerful. Very powerful.
Very, very powerful.
Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to do my tarot reading.
Don't you worry now. I know what I'm doing. push your vital energies into the cards.
Asa pikowego wyciągnie.
This is your soul card. That which applies to all of your lifetimes. It's the Empress. Oh, that's a good one.
What's it mean?
It means that your soul's journey is one of leadership. There's great strength here and intelligence. This card represents what you're like in this lifetime. It's the Chariot. Self-discipline, control. You need to feel you have a plan, that you're testing your abilities. The Chariot's very masculine. In combination with the Empress, it tells me that you're currently exploring your male side. You will seek out great achievement, but it does have its price.
Doesn't sound anything like me.
Yes, dear. The third card represents the other. You've pulled the Magician. Who is he, dear?
Excuse me?
Your other, the Magician. Oh, this is a very powerful card. Major Arcana.
My other?
Major?
Everyone has an other.
Albo kapitan.
Let's see. I bet it's the Schottenjäger. What's his name?
The Schottenjäger? Gabriel Knight.
A name of power. He is powerful, this one. The Magician is dexterous and cunning, mischievous and manipulating.
That's Gabriel, all right.
And very strong with magical and occult powers. Now, this is interesting because your card, the Chariot, is all logic and reasoning, while his, the Magician, is spiritual and intuitive. You two are quite a pair. The fourth card shows what you're trying to achieve at this moment, your immediate destiny. It's the Strength or Lust card.
Lust?
Not that kind of lust, dear. It's a trial card, finding the strength to continue some difficult journey. It also represents the integration of conflicting energies. That must be your Chariot and his Magician energies. Strength also means bonding those energies, loving without judgment, learning to love the beast.
Wszyscy wiedzą, że jesteś zakochana
What is this trial, dear? Do you know?
Well, Gabriel and I are involved with a case right now.
It will be a hard time. You must let your love give you power. Use the positive energy of your union or you may not succeed.
I think you have the wrong idea. Gabriel and I just work together.
Sure, dear.
Yes, dear. But if I might just suggest, when you're facing negative forces, the positive energy of love is a very vital weapon.
Gabriel jest wilkołakiem, jaki jest jego lore?
To make
Nie,
yourself
Gabriel jest
vulnerable when you
womanizerem
resist your own
i
tools.
pisarzem.
Well, that's been helpful.
I hope
Którego
so,
rodzina walczy z demonami. Labradołakiem.
Maybe we should do a reading for Gabriel.
Oh, let's! It's a little like spying on someone unawares, but what the heck? Reach out to the cards and to think about his essence.
Daj mi jego
His soul
essence.
card is the Magician. Yes, dear. It reflects your
Albo
other
jak Van Helsing.
exactly.
Well, maybe, but I'd rather hold out for David Copperfield.
And his lifetime card? Oh, goodness. The Lovers.
You mean the sole purpose of his life is in his pants? Doesn't surprise me.
It's not what you think, dear. It's a duality card. As a lifetime card, it refers to Gabriel's own duality. Good versus evil, physical pleasure versus spiritual growth, that kind of thing. His challenge is to integrate the conflicting parts of himself. Until he does, he'll never find peace. And you will find peace when you acknowledge all of him. Find a way to love the worst as you already love the best.
You're really reaching.
Mother.
His other is the High Priestess.
Let me guess. That's me, right?
No, dear, it's not. The High Priestess represents psychic mysteries, deep wisdom. This is a very different energy from your earthy one. This must be our connection. To the voice, dear! Someone is trying to communicate with Gabriel. This force is represented by the High Priestess.
That's not much help. What about the Black Wolf?
But it is a help, dear. The High Priestess is a spiritual guide card if ever there was one. The message must have been a warning.
If this force is connected to Gabriel, and if he's so very psychic, then why doesn't it just go to him? Why say it to me?
Maybe Gabriel's blocked. Maybe he's purposefully blocking. There is that duality business. Let's go on and see if it becomes clear. The fourth card, remember, represents the current situation. It's death.
Oh, no.
Oh. Nothing to worry about then.
Now, you just leave interpretation up to me, Sugar Pie. It's a transformation card, dying to one thing and being born to another. It is painful, but it isn't necessarily bad.
Może Gabriel zostanie wilkołakiem.
Two of Wands. Oh my.
What?
A 2 is not good here. Wands is Mars in Aries. That's a war card. In conjunction with the death card, there are 2 possible transformations.
2 transformations?
Yes, dear. Gabriel is waging a spiritual battle. The transformation might be good or evil. That must be the purpose of the High Priestess. She's trying to guide him.
So you think he really might be in danger?
Oh, yes, dear. Gabriel's very essence is at stake.
Okay, z Gabrielem, daj
If he
spokój.
takes the wrong path with his powers, Emma and I will stay in town. You must let me know if anything else happens that we can read for clues. Let the Force use you.
I niech będzie z tobą.
I'd better go.
Anytime you need us, stop by.
And be careful now.
Thanks.
Emil taki małomówny trochę. Dobra. Tutaj ten facet, brodacz, panienka z okienka, a tutaj były te lochy, nie?
Von Rollick slept here.
Na tych prześcieradłach. 400 lat temu. A, nie byliśmy jeszcze w kościele. Tam ten gość, ten brodacz z okienka nam tłumaczył coś dla tego księdza, nie? Czy myśmy w końcu zwiedzili ten kościół, czy nie? Bo już nie pamiętam.
I don't want to disturb her. Saint Georg, patron saint of the Schattenjägers.
Święty Jerzy, to ten, co smoka zabił.
The Madonna.
Madonna, dobra. Ciekawe, czy mieli zgody na robienie tych zdjęć i ich wykorzystanie.
Gerda's here. I wonder what she's up to.
To jest na krzywą mordę wszystko. Jak już to na piękne włosy Gabriela. Awkward.
Oh my god. Gerda was in love with Wolfgang.
Kim był Wolfgang?
Boy, do I feel stupid or what? Grace Nakamura. I really should apologize, but I...
Dobra, to tutaj nie można. Dobra, to chodźmy do zamku, do biblioteki. Jak wątpliwości, to trzeba zrobić research. A najpierw save, różnie bywa. Tu było wejście? Chyba tak, nie?
I wish I could read these biographies of Ludwig. Wait a minute. Ludwig II, fairy tale king of Bavaria. I didn't see this before.
Ktoś podrzucił.
Yep, English. Huh.
Yeah, English. Dobra, czy to będzie kolejna scenka z czytaniem książki?
Ludwig remained throughout
Yes.
his life both very bright and very naive. He was an introvert who seemed to be constantly out of sync with traditional views of rulership, money, and human relationships. The world ever failed to match his ideals. Perhaps this was a fault of his sheltered upbringing as future king. He never was introduced to the real world, and the real world failed to interest him as an adult. In his youth, Ludwig was in fine physical condition and loved to hike alone in the Alps and ride horses. He had a hunting lodge, Schachen, specifically for this purpose.
Schachen.
Unfortunately, in 1872, a rather traumatic hunting accident befell the king at Schachen, and his leg was cruelly damaged. He never fully recovered from this incident, and his hiking and riding ceased. His physical health deteriorated from that time on, and explains why he looked so unhealthy in later years. A hunting accident?
Okej, czyli to jest to, co Gabriel tych nazw nie znał. To Schachen to jest tam, gdzie miał swój pałacyk. Zamek w sensie.
Other than his long-standing friendship with the Empress Elizabeth of Austria and with his mother, the relationships Ludwig attempted with others were nearly always a disappointment for him and a bewilderment for his partners. He would become obsessed with someone, a singer, an artist, a nobleman or a peasant, and would bombard them with gifts, praise, and favors. When they would fail to return the depths of rapturous passion he required, the singular adoration and humble obedience he expected, he would grow disappointed and cut himself off from them. The objects of his interest were occasionally women, usually ones he fell in love with after seeing them in idealized roles on the stage, but they were more often young men who fit his fantasies of the heroic sagas like Lohengrin and Parsifal that he so loved.
Okay.
A good example of the king's obsessive behavior in relationships is the following letter from the Königlich Bayerische archives, which this author was privileged to access. It is dated 1864, and it was written by Ludwig's manservant, Paul, to a friend. The king has been in high mood these days. The reason, of course, is a new interest. Thursday last, the king attended a performance of Lohengrin in the Wittelsbacher Theater. He came back in a fever, demanding that a man be found. The man, it was gathered, had been sitting in a box across from Ludwig and had drawn the king's attention by his beauty and his deep emotional response to the performance. The king declared that here at last is a sensitive soul. The man was tracked down and brought in for an audience. Upon my word, never have I seen any mind so in line with His Majesty's own. They discussed Wagner and France and Byron and all manner of things until long past dawn. The young man, beautiful indeed to look upon, met the king's enthusiasm and knowledge bit for bit. His Majesty has been in the thick of it ever since, and while I welcome his good temper, I grow tired of fetching letters back and forth to Louis, so called by His Majesty, that should tell you who the young man looks like, at all hours of the night. This author has not been able to learn much about Louis, but he was known to have been a seemingly high-bred foreigner, and he was involved with Ludwig as late as 1880, when he fell into disfavor. The king, especially later in life, felt a great deal of guilt about his sensual nature. His diaries are full of repentant entries begging God for forgiveness and swearing to remain pure. In many of the diary entries, he swears to abstain from sexual relations. The number of these oath entries indicate that Ludwig was not very successful in resisting temptation, yet it is also clear that Ludwig was a God-fearing man and that, though his flesh might occasionally fall, he never surrendered his heart and his conscience to sin.
Okej, czyli palił, ale się nie zaciągał. Bardzo fajnie. Dobra. Okej. Czyli mamy o Ludwiku. Tak, on tylko fizycznie ulegał pokusom, ale jego serce i umysł zawsze oddane były Bogu. Czyli dosłownie palił, ale się nie zaciągał. Okej. Przejdźmy się tym tunelem. Tam było jeszcze zejście na dół, którym wcześniej nie mogliśmy nigdzie dojść. Czy teraz już będziemy mogli dojść? A, to te róże. Może możemy dla tej, dla Gerdi narwać z przeprosinami. No to spojrzenie długie w stronę róży też sugeruje, że coś z nimi trzeba zrobić. No, gołymi rękoma te róże. A, kliknąłem. No to podejrzewam, że nie było nic więcej, tylko zbieranie.
I'll leave the other roses on the bush. I think it'll be quicker to go back the way I... The castle looks huge.
Okej. Czy tu nie ma na skróty nigdzie drogi? Dobra, mamy te róże? Mamy róże.
They're beautiful, but they won't last long in my coat.
Okej. A no możemy teraz jej dać różę. Nie wiem, że ona wróciła do domu, czy dalej w tej krypcie jest. I możemy wtedy... Jeszcze w krypcie. Może się przestanie na nas gniewać i nam powie, gdzie jest Gabriel, albo chociaż kluczyki do samochodu da, to wtedy moglibyśmy pojechać do tych miejscowości, o których pisał Gabriel i o których ona czytała teraz w książce o Ludwiku. Za miesiąc będę w Gdyniance. To pozdrów tam wszystkich ode mnie. Cool, 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 cool.
There. That's better, don't you think? I'm so sorry. I was an idiot.
Gabriel and I,
we never... I know. It's my fault. It's Gabriel's fault. He never tells me anything. I don't know why he didn't want me on this case. Maybe he just... Don't even try to make excuses for him.
Już się miały pogodzić, a Grace znowu ją atakuje.
Will you help me out with something? Of course. I have to do some research on Ludwig. I want to go see some of his castles.
Take Gabriel's car. There's a map of southern Bavaria in the car. Ludwig's castles are all marked.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Powiedz, nie no, to gdzieś jest na wsi pod te zamki, więc raczej metro nie dojeżdża, ale tak to chyba. Okej, dobra. To wróćmy do tego. Mamy auto. Dobra, safe. Yes. Dobra, który to był? Weźmy po kolei. Na pewno manual.
I can't see the displays until I've gotten past the counter.
Co ty pierdolisz?
I can't see the displays until I've
Przecież
gotten
widać
past the
wszystko
counter.
dokładnie.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Ist das die Ludwig Museum?
Ja, ja. Ludwig der Zweite von Bayern.
Ludwig II Bayer. Tak jest, chcemy ticket.
Ich hätte gern eine Eintrittskarte fürs Museum.
Ja, 8 Mark für eine
Mark.
Ganztagskarte.
Osiem marków. A ona Kubar? Czy ona jest wilkołakiem i głównym bossem? Wydaje się być dość wredną.
She's beautiful. Elizabeth of Austria.
A to była ta koleżanka Ludwika.
One of Ludwig's few close friends was Empress Elizabeth of Austria. She was a distant cousin of the boy prince, and he saw her often growing up. Graceful and beautiful, Elizabeth seemed to represent the feminine ideal to the younger Ludwig. Their friendship continued after her marriage, mainly by correspondence. She remained a source of stability for Ludwig throughout his life. In keeping with Ludwig's love of romance and drama, he called her the dove, and he to her was the eagle.
Musi być jakaś zagadka w stylu rezydenta, Dove and Eagle. Okay.
July 3rd, 1863. Elizabeth, you can have no idea, dear cousin, how happy you made me. The hours recently passed with you in the railway carriage I consider among the happiest in my life. Never will their memory fade. You gave me permission to visit you at Ischl. If the time comes for this ardent hope to be fulfilled, I shall be of all men upon earth the most blessed. The feelings of sincere love and reverence and faithful attachment to you, which I cherished in my heart even as a boy, makes me imagine heaven upon earth and will be extinguished by death alone. I beg you with all my heart to forgive the contents of this letter, but I could not help myself. Ludwig.
Also, pamiętaj, że nie zdradzam, bo to tylko cielesne.
Elizabeth
Słabość.
frequently gave Ludwig advice on royal conduct, hoping to protect him from unfavorable public opinion. March 1st, 1865. My dearest Eagle, you have not written me in a few months. I have missed you. I often try to imagine what you are doing. I hear tales that you have been on retreat and have not been seen in Munich for some time. I suspect it is this new friend you wrote up so mysteriously that takes you away from home. I hope you are enjoying yourself, my beloved, but I beg you to caution. The people need to see you at the throne. I also hesitate to suggest that what your officials do in your absence may not always be in your own best interest. You have always been a true king, but you must let the people see you to ensure that they don't forget that. E. Your dove. Ludwig's friends were concerned for his mental state long before his arrest. June 14th, 1878. My beloved Eagle, in your last letter you spoke so movingly of your torment that I was moved to tears. What is this torment? Why won't you confess to me what is truly troubling you? You must know that I would never despise you, no matter how horrible you believe your sins to be. Please do not write such barbs to my heart by even suggesting such things. If you do not wish to confess to me, at least tell me how I can aid you. I am always your true one, your dove.
Twój gołąb.
In this letter, dated November 1886, Elizabeth of Austria thanks Bishop Frank for his assistance in helping her fulfill Ludwig's last wishes. She writes that she knows it was an unusual request, but she believes Ludwig had reasons of his own for wishing it to be done. She hopes that his spirit finds peace at last. No further reference to this letter has ever been found. One can only speculate what the last wishes of a cornered and embattled Ludwig might have been. What were his last wishes? This place is giving me more questions than answers. They certainly make an incredible looking couple. They certainly make an incredible... Ludwig is Prince Charming. He played the part well.
Nie ma żadnego podpisu.
Ludwig's Grand Master wardrobe from the Knights of St. George. Looks like it weighs a ton. He looks so regal. What? Ludwig is Grand Master of the Knights of St. George. The Knights of St. George was an aristocratic society dedicated to the acts of chivalry. Ludwig loved the medieval pageantry of the order in his early years, before his increasing reclusiveness drove him to abandon public appearances.
Fajnie, jest wycieczka po muzeum.
Ludwig and Wagner. Ludwig loved the opera of his contemporary Richard Wagner. He helped support Wagner's music through much of his life. Ludwig considered Wagner a close friend, often calling him the great friend. Wagner encouraged this infatuation, some believe, for personal gain. Typical artist. I wonder if these pins have any symbolic meaning. Signets and sash pins from the Order of the Knights of St. George. These were worn on Ludwig's uniform, as befitted his rank of Grand Master. They are now the property of the Bavarian Crown Treasury.
Okay.
Even after Wagner's death, Ludwig still showed signs of obsession with the composer. This letter, written in 1882 by Ludwig to the conductor of the Munich Opera, instructs the conductor to make preparations for a new Wagner opera. The conductor went to see the king as instructed. When he arrived, Ludwig was ill and refused to see him. Nothing further was ever heard of this mysterious new opera. Was it a figment of an ill man's desperate wishes? Ludwig is offered a crown of laurels by the genius of immortal fame. 26 July 1874. By the power of the lily, we shall have the strength to resist all temptations throughout the whole year.
Zombie Ludwig?
26 July 1875. Solemn oath before the picture of the great king. Refrain for 3 months from all excitement. This oath has its binding power as well as its potency by de par le Roy, LNR, DPLR. What excitement! I need to see more of that diary.
Jest jakiś diary?
June 7th, 1886. A group of men arrive at Neuschwanstein Castle demanding to take the king in custody. With them is Dr. Guden, the doctor who had been in charge of Otto, the king's mentally ill brother. The men have an order for the king's arrest on the grounds of insanity. They are refused admittance by a brave group of farmers and local soldiers who have come to Ludwig's aid. They are forced to retreat to nearby Hohenschwangau. This is the first Ludwig hears of the conspiracy. Ludwig composes a pamphlet explaining the subversive acts of the conspirators and eloquently pleading with his people for aid. The pamphlet is smuggled out of Neuschwanstein and printed, but the pamphlets are seized before they can be distributed. June 12, 1886. Ludwig knows the conspirators will return. He despairs. He asks his servant for the keys to the tower. The servant, fearing the king intends suicide, says the key is lost. Unbeknownst to Ludwig, the conspirators arrive at the castle. This time, there is no one to stop them. Ludwig is lured from his bedroom to the entry hall of Neuschwanstein on pretense. There, he is taken into custody. Ludwig is taken by carriage from Neuschwanstein to Berg, where his brother Otto had long been imprisoned. This is a great blow to the king's state of mind. While on the way, the group stops at Sieshaupt to change horses. Ludwig asks to see the postmistress, Frau Vogel. She brings him a glass of water and he says something to her. She never reveals these last words to anyone.
Fajna historia.
June 13th, 1886. At Berg, Ludwig seems cooperative and coherent. Dr. Guden writes to the government that he has Ludwig well under control. The two men go out for a walk, and Dr. Guden is so confident he dismisses the guards. When Ludwig and the doctor do not return after several hours, a search is undertaken. The bodies of the two men are found in the lake, drowned. Circumstances unknown. June 13th, when Ludwig and the doctor do not June 18th, 1886. Ludwig's funeral procession marches through the streets of Munich, followed by enormous crowds of mourners. The service is held at a packed St. Michael's church. Lightning strikes the church during the service, but no one is harmed. Ludwig's body is entombed in the Wittelsbach crypt at St. Michael's. His heart is placed in an urn in the pilgrimage chapel at Altading in the Wittelsbach tradition. The urn is shown to the right. His heart is in an urn. How bizarre.
Okay, cool.
I have no idea what that says. Looks old, though. Oh my God. That's the slave from my dream.
To musiał być Ludwik, ten, który ją uratował we śnie.
Maybe Mrs. Smith will know what my dream meant. I have to ask someone. This thing is getting too weird. The midnight sleigh rides. Ludwig went on long sleigh rides in the middle of the night, particularly in his later years. It is said that he suffered from insomnia, headaches, and toothaches, and the rides soothed his restlessness. The sight of the king's grand sleigh speeding through the countryside of the Alps often startled the peasants and became a superstitious omen of ill fortune. I can see why. But what was he doing out there at night?
No jeździł, bo lubił, no. Spać nie mógł, to jeździł.
December 14th, 1881, Linderhof. Order another work by Jennings on the occult. Write urgently to Klug saying that I insist that the stoppages by the bank cease. I want it, and therefore it must be done. Write very urgently. He must succeed at once, and then must report to me urgently. If I give orders to clear my room, doing so must not be postponed as it happened. Pencils must be pointed without special orders. The day after tomorrow, 1,000 marks. How is Louis now? I want to know whether he looks unhappy. How often have I said that the coffee must not come up boiling hot, so that it can only be drunk after standing an hour? If any more correspondence come from Louis, they are to be burnt immediately, but I am to be informed of their arrival. These are actual notes from Ludwig to his servants. They go far in showing the king's state of mind. They were smuggled out and used as evidence in compiling the order for Ludwig's arrest. December 18th, 1881, Linderhof. Every day get up earlier for certain. See to that very particularly. Write it down. Remember that when the great friend arrives at Neuschwanstein, we retire to the hall. We are not to be disturbed. I will not tolerate interference or insubordination. Ludwig's death mask. Wow.
Dzień dobry, proszę panią.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Im Museum ist einen Brief von Ludwig über eine neue Wagner-Oper.
Ja, ja, ich kenne diesen Brief.
Wo kann ich mehr von dieser Wagner-Oper sehen?
Ja, ich weiß nichts über Wagner. Das hier ist kein Wagner-Museum.
To nie jest muzeum Wagnera, my tu nie wiemy o Wagnerze, nic fajna rozmowa.
In Bayreuth befindet sich ein Wagner-Museum.
O, ale mają muzeum
Wagnera. Halt doch, ne?
Bayreuth. Danke.
Dobra, czy są tu jeszcze jakieś naprawy pokoje? To chyba wszystko. Ok. Sejwik. Czy teraz będziemy mogli pojechać? Tutaj było, nie? To muzeum. Trochę paliwa pali.
Our tour begins in the entry hall. Ludwig II lived from 1845
Pierwsza część się
to
dzieje w
1886.
Nowym Orleanie.
He
Trzecia
assumed the Bavarian
też gdzieś
throne
w
at the age
Europie,
of
ale nie pamiętam, tak mi się
18 when
wydaje.
his father died. Ludwig's passion was building castles. He built 3 during his lifetime: Linderhof, Herrenchiemsee, and Neuschwanstein. Plans for a 4th castle, Falkenstein, were underway when he died. In addition to his obsession with building, Ludwig also had a passion for classical heroic German mythology, a taste he shared with the German opera composer Richard Wagner. Neuschwanstein is decorated throughout with themes from these stories, most of which directly relate to Wagner's operas.
Cieć poszedł dalej.
These scenes seem to tell a story, but I have no idea what story. These scenes...
Miecz kują.
I wonder where that door leads. Did they have running water in 1886? Maybe Ludwig thought all this luxury would help him sleep.
The richly carved bed, with its canopy, resembles a Gothic building in its turrets. The bed's draperies were handmade by dozens of Bavarian seamstresses.
Cool.
You are now standing in the king's bedroom. The theme of the bedroom is Tristan and Isolde, the tragic love story retold in Wagner's opera. The opera was given its first performance in Munich in 1865, and the 20-year-old Ludwig attended. This is probably the most elaborate and expensive bedroom ever created. It took 14 wood carvers 4.5 years to create this room. It was this kind of extravagance that bankrupted the king. In the years before his death, he found it increasingly difficult to find money from any source. Scenes from the opera Tristan and Isolde.
I don't think the guards want to be...
Scenes from the opera Tristan and Isolde.
O, czyli część się dzieje we Francji. Dziękuję.
I don't think the guards want to be bothered.
This is the king's living room. The walls are decorated with scenes from the Lohengrin saga. The king first saw Wagner's opera Lohengrin when he was 16, and it so affected him that he considered it a form of enlightenment. The tragedy of Lohengrin was his essential loneliness. This too was Ludwig's own fate. Ludwig withdrew more and more into his fantasy world of epic heroes and absolute monarchy, an ideal he was determined to create in his castles if he could not have it in his real life. He only wanted to be alone with his dreams, so much so that even his servants were kept at a distance and were not allowed to look at him.
What were you afraid they'd see?
Może jest wilmkołakiem.
These linens look seriously expensive and seriously old.
The miracle of the Grail.
I'm surprised people don't sit in these chairs when the guard's not looking. More swans.
The swan motif is featured throughout the castle, but it is particularly prominent in this room. Both the swan and the lily were symbols Ludwig associated with himself. They represented his ideals of majesty and purity. The painting behind the swan shows Lohengrin's arrival. This is a reproduction of the grotto from the Tannhäuser saga. In such places, Ludwig could pretend he was one of his beloved mythic heroes. As the grotto personifies, the castles were solitary playgrounds built for Ludwig alone. He believed the masses were too coarse to appreciate fine art, and he seldom entertained guests. In fact, Ludwig had a standing order that upon his death, the castles were to be destroyed. Fortunately, the estate was in such debt that the castles were opened for paying tours only weeks after Ludwig's death. They haven't closed since. It is one of the great ironies of Ludwig's story that the castles that he was thought insane for building are now considered Bavaria's finest treasures. They have paid for their construction many times over.
I can almost picture Ludwig in here. I wonder what he really dreamt about in this room. I can almost...
This is the king's study. Ludwig spent much time at his desk, writing letters, drawing up plans for his projects, and studying his favorite authors. He loved poetry, history, and the classics. In later years, he also studied the occult. What affairs of state he did reluctantly attend to were generally attended to alone at his desk in writing. His reluctance to meet with his heads of state and perform the duties of the king were one of the reasons for the charges brought against him in 1886. But Ludwig dreamt of true kingship and a true monarchy, and the small powers left to him after Bavaria succeeded power to Prussia only incited his disdain and frustration.
Fajne jest to. Znaczy, fajne jest to, że można się przejść po tym muzeum, faktycznie informacje. Fajnie to wzbogaca świat gry.
The study paintings depict scenes from the Tannhäuser Saga and the Wartburg Castle.
I wonder why he was studying the occult before he died. I wonder why he was studying the occult. I doubt there's anything left in there now. Besides, the guard would kill me if I touched it.
This is the final room of our tour, the Singers' Hall.
Myślę, że
It
to
was
się,
modeled
nie wiem,
after
czy
the
to się
Singers'
prawdziwa
Hall of the
historia
Wartburg Castle,
przeplata
where
z
minstrel
fantastyką,
competitions were
myślę,
held in
potrzeba.
the
Albo z jakąś
13th
legendą,
century.
może
The hall was
faktycznie
built
jest.
for small private concerts, but Ludwig himself never gave one here. It is said that during the last few years of Wagner's life, he came to Neuschwanstein frequently and performed for the king alone in this room. The hall is probably best known for its enigmatic wolf paintings. The original paintings were from the Parsifal saga, but in 1882, Ludwig had them replaced, supplying the description and titles of the new paintings himself. While all the other rooms in the castle show scenes from Wagner's operas, the scenes in this room are not from any opera that anyone can identify. It is yet another of the many mysteries associated with the life of the fairy tale king. The hunters track down Engelhard and Hildegunde. Engelhard courts Hildegunde. Engelhard and the blacksmith.
There must be a story behind these wolf paintings. But what story? There must...
This is the final room of our tour, the Singers' Hall. It was modeled after the Singers' Hall of the Wartburg Castle, where minstrel competitions were held in the 13th century. The hall was built for small private concerts, but Ludwig, the hall is Hildegunde's imprisonment. The wedding feast of Hildegunde and the Baron. The death of Engelhard. Ludwig's childhood castle, Hohenschwangau, is visible from the lookout in the Singers' Hall.
Nice view of the Alps.
A, czyli stąd nie można... A nie, można wyjść. Dobra, to jeszcze jedno. Tutaj można było się O, tu i tu było chyba wejście. O, właśnie.
This is Ludwig's private chapel. The king was a devout Catholic, as were all of the Wittelsbacher rulers. They supported the Roman Church even when other European countries were dominated by Protestantism.
The Black Madonna of Altading. I wonder what her story is all about. It's a beautiful crucifix, ivory and gold.
Wow.
The stained glass window depicts St. Louis receiving the last sacraments. The paintings above the altar depict St. Louis surrounded by the seraphim. An interesting side note. For a period of about a year, the Louis images in all three castles were ordered to be covered up with black cloth on the unfathomable whim of the king.
Fajne. Byliśmy. Tu byliśmy. Tu byliśmy. Tu byliśmy. Tu byliśmy. I tu byliśmy. Okej. Jak teraz do auta wsiąść, przepraszam. Aha, exit. Dobra, to gdzie było to muzeum? O, teraz się pojawiło nowe. To chyba to muzeum jest. Muzeum Wagnera chyba.
Grüß Gott.
Guten Tag. Ist das die Wagner Museum?
Ja, you're an American, aren't you? I'm afraid the house is closed this time of year. It will be open next month.
Crap.
You are interested in Wagner?
Very interested. Very recently very interested.
Yeah. Most of the house is closed for cleaning, but a few rooms are open. I shouldn't let you probably, but if it is only you, you are alone, aren't you?
Endlessly.
Come in and look over.
That's very generous. What do I owe you?
Georg Immerding.
Nie, to nie jest główny zły morderca. Chyba, że Kups chciałby go nominować, to wtedy może. Ale...
Shining Knight, if I charge you?
Thanks, Georg. My name is Grace.
Hello.
I wilkołak, tak.
Have
I
a good
wampir
time.
jeszcze. I potwór z laguny. Dobra, zróbmy sobie save'a.
Wagner's piano. On this piano, the maestro composed his later operas, including The Ring. Franz Liszt, composer and Cosima Wagner's father. Richard Wagner.
Richie Wagner.
This must be a model of Wagner's own theater, here in Bayreuth. Opera costumes. Opera costumes. These look like production designs. I don't see anything that looks like those wolf paintings in Neuschwanstein, though. The great patron himself. Ludwig as the classical Greek hero.
O, kolejna maska Ludwika.
Ludwig's death mask.
To ten mask. Okay.
July 1882. Great and beloved king, Monsieur Beaujolais and I have finished the diagram. We checked the figures many times and Monsieur is confident that it will work. 8 identical fixtures are to be made from the diagram and placed in the theater exactly as specified. I'm sending the diagram with your courier. Be full of hope and have courage. All will be well. Your own, Wagner. June 10th, 1881, Munich residence. Great friend. I am writing to you in the middle of the night. My blood is pounding too wildly for sleep. Tonight's performance, how can I describe it? I am unsure whether to be terrified or thrilled. Perhaps I even feel hopeful. If it is hope, you have given it to me, my friend, for the first time in years. We must speak. Something happened during the music tonight, but I must have your absolute confidence. As you love me, come at once. Your devoted king, Ludwig. A portrait given as a gift from Ludwig to Wagner.
Aha, czyli tutaj więcej, czym ja dobrze rozumiem, tutaj więcej przejścia nie ma tędy. A, no jest.
An old sofa.
Stara sofa przecież mówi.
It's a letter from a Monsieur Beaujolais, dated September 1881. Looks like he's discussing acoustics and sound waves and crystals. It looks like an architectural drawing of a theater. The Wittelsbacher Theater, München. Every square inch is measured. Wagner's Death Mask.
Co jest z tymi maskami pośmiertnymi? Czyli zrobiliśmy kółko, tak? Tak, wygląda, że zrobiliśmy kółko. Czasem jakaś tak ciasną kamera, czy ciężko perspektywę złapać. Ja nie wiem, gdzie już byłem, a gdzie już nie byłem.
Wagner souvenirs. Don't think I need any of those.
What are you doing here if the museum is closed?
They always like to have a caretaker here. It's a good job for me. I can soak in the atmosphere of the maestro while I compose.
What are you composing?
This, a new arrangement. One of Wagner's pieces.
For the Bayreuth Opera?
I am only a student at the university. I study music, composition, conducting.
Okay.
Is there much of a call for conductors in Europe?
Ask my brother. He is the conductor for the Munich Opera.
Well, that's convenient. Does that mean you get free opera tickets?
Yes. I get a week's pass to the Opernfestspiele, the opera festival in Munich. It starts in a few months.
Hope I'm still around to see it.
Come with me if you like. If you're still around, I can go backstage and all sorts of things.
I'd love that. If I'm still in Germany, I'll call you, all right?
Może faktycznie będziemy tą operę odwiedzać.
Tell me about Wagner.
He was a character. He spent most of his life trying to convince rich patrons to subsidize his work. Unfortunately, he had expensive tastes. You see, he believed that someone of his genius deserved to live well. Can't argue with that.
But Ludwig II supported him, didn't he?
Yeah, sure, but Ludwig came along very late in Wagner's life. By then, he had already been run out of Venice and most major cities because of debt. Ludwig saved him. And the music. Best thing Ludwig ever did.
No tak nie mów o Ludwiku.
Do you know anything about that letter from Wagner to Ludwig in the display case? The one about the diagram?
No. Some sort of equipment for Ludwig's theater. But I don't know why Wagner would have cared about this. If he was worried about any theater, you would think it would have been his own theater, here, in Bayreuth.
No, jakaś zagadka musi być.
Have you ever heard about the letter that Ludwig wrote to the Munich conductor in 1882 telling him to prepare for a new Wagner opera?
You're full of surprises for an American.
What do you know about it?
No one knows anything about it. It's like a treasure map, you know? It's probably a complete fairy tale, but...
Na wiki jest, tak? Wagner, słynny
You have
kompozytor
no
i
idea what it could have
wilkołak.
referred to? Maybe
Może
something
ktoś
that Wagner was
wyedytuje
working
wiki.
on with Ludwig?
If there was, there's no trace of it. Except perhaps in the dreams of unemployed music students.
Have you ever heard about the wolf panels in the Singers' Hall at Neuschwanstein?
Did my brother send you here?
No.
Probably not. It's only the letter to the conductor, the wolf panels. My brother thinks I am crazy because of all my theories.
What theories?
This is Quatsch. If there was a lost opera, a lost Wagner opera, and if one could find it, to a conductor, This would be like finding King Tut's tomb. But people have looked for it before. If it ever existed,
Daj
it is gone
spokój,
forever.
kurwa. Georg ma być
My
bossem.
brother says I waste my time even thinking about it.
I'm curious. Is there any other information that points to the lost opera besides Ludwig's letter and the wolf panels?
Aha, czyli była jakaś zaginiona opera
It's
i
nothing.
jedyne gobeliny
I'm
w
not
zamku,
even
które nie
supposed to
odpowiadały
see
jak
it.
sceną z opery, to były te z wilkami. Czyli jest teoria, że Wagner przygotowywał operę, w której były
My brother
wilki.
says that
I to
Wagner
jest
was
jeden
too
z
egotistical
dowodów na
to
to.
have produced a lost opera. If he was working on something new, every person in Bayreuth would have heard about it. On the other hand, it was in Ludwig's character to have wanted a private opera.
But it wouldn't have been private. Ludwig's letter shows he intended it to be played in Munich.
Yes, but that it would get so far without Wagner telling others? Why keep it a secret?
Maybe there was a very good reason for secrecy.
Dzięki, Jemus. Będzie i sałatka, i jajeczko.
For example?
Dzięki.
Like... Never mind.
Never mind. Okej, no to chyba wszystko tutaj mamy. To pojedźmy... Gdzie jest nasz dom? To jest nasz dom? Czy gdzie jest nasz dom? Tak, tu jest nasz dom. Mieliśmy pogadać z tą kobitką od przepowiadania. Co może dać pod sałatkę? Obrus. Pod sałatkę? Znaczy wódeczkę prawie pod wszystko można dać, więc... Jak jest słone, to można dać. O, nie ma tej odpowiadania, to może chociaż on coś powie. Czyli dostajesz 15 zł na wódkę, tak?
Herr Huber?
Yes?
Pod słodkie wódka nie bardzo. No chyba, że bardzo trzeba, to wtedy można, ale raczej
Are the
się nie
Smiths in their
zaleca.
room?
Yeah, I believe so.
Could you ask them to come down, please?
Yeah, natürlich.
Natürlich. Nie trzeba,
Now
ale
you
można.
just
No.
tell Merle what's going on.
I had a dream last night.
Sen był.
I didn't remember it at first, but I saw something today at one of the museums.
What was the dream?
I was being chased in the woods by wolves. And I saw a sleigh. Ludwig was inside. He pulled me up, and I thought I was safe. But then he turned into a wolf.
So what do you think, Mother?
A dream of rescue is a spiritual guide dream. The High Priestess in Gabriel's cards must be linked to Ludwig somehow.
What do the wolves represent?
I'm a psychic, dear, not Freud. But the warning I got was about the black wolf, wasn't it? And the wolves in the dream. It must be the same danger.
It's so frustrating. The more I find out, the more questions I have.
Why don't you try a little communicating of your own? Ludwig's the link. Appeal to him. The answers may not come right away, but at least you'll give the guide something specific to say the next time she contacts you.
Isn't there any way that you could, you know, do a psychic reading on Ludwig or something?
To tell you the truth, I've been trying all day to make contact, but I only feel great despair. Ludwig's soul is not at peace.
Niedobrze.
I'd better go.
Anytime you
lecę.
need us, stop by.
And be careful now.
Thanks.
Żaden Jemus, klasyczny. Quest ostatnio rozwerwał. Nie pamiętam, czy Exotic, czy Passion. Nie było chętnych. Co, jakiś research, nie? O, cześć Gabi.
Hi, Gerda. I'm back. Good.
Gerda?
Yes?
Have you heard from Gabriel at all?
No, Grace, I'm sorry.
Never mind.
Dobra, ale to jest dobry moment, żeby sobie zrobić save'a tutaj. Co zresztą uczynimy. Ja myślę, że 2,5 godziny to i tak pchnęliśmy do przodu, ale nie tak mocno, jak sobie to wyobrażałem, więc myślę, że przynajmniej 2 kolejne części będą potrzebne. Nie damy rady. Jesteśmy w 4. akcie, a jest ich 6. W 6. jeszcze z tego co pamiętam jest klasyczny potykacz i wydłużacz czasu, czyli coś na kształt labiryntu z tego co czytałem, więc na pewno jeszcze nam zejdą z 2 odcinki, a kto wie, może i 3, czyli nie pamiętam ile Discord miał części, 6 chyba też, więc jest szansa, że albo dogonimy, albo przebijemy. Także dziękuję Wam za tak liczną obecność dzisiaj. Wiem, że to święta i mieliście alternatywę, ale fajnie, że wpadliście na stream. Jutro poniedziałek, wciąż święta, ale postaramy się przygotować rozpiskę. Gdyby się nie pojawiła, to na pewno będzie we wtorek, ale kto wie, może damy radę. Także dziękuję Wam bardzo za obecność i do następnego razu. Pa!